Hi, this is Lori of Lori's Happy Stamps, and today we're going to be talking about Notes from the Heart, the December 2024 paper pumpkin. I have several alternatives and a special surprise project at the end of today's video, but let's get started. As usual, I take my stamps and I use this Notes of the Heart piece that they send, folded in half around a piece of paper tag board, and then cover it in packing tape, and then I lay my stamps down on it. It's just a easy way to be able to reference my stamps. And today we're going to look at these three gorgeous cards, and I like all three of them, and I wanted to make all three, but if I did make 3 times 3, then I wouldn't have any extra product, so only made a couple. So I made one, and then I'll make one with my paper pumpkin group on January 3rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Zoom. So this is the first card, and for this card, you need one of the envelopes, and you also need one of the labels for the outside of the envelope. You need one of the card bases. You need the long tag that is stamped in blue Blackberry Bliss, and they use the thank you. Then you need one of the Blackberry pieces, and you need one of the vellum pieces. So it's a pretty straightforward card once you get going. None of these cards were difficult, but the result is gorgeous. So what I did as a little tell is I put the piece of vellum behind the Blackberry piece, and I used a little piece of Scotch tape to hold them together before I glued them down, and it just made it a lot easier. They're glued flat, and then the sentiment is bumped up on dimensionals, and then I added the 3 gems from the kit. Then all you have to do is add the label to the front of the envelope, and you are set with card number 1. So all 3 of the cards are put together pretty much the same way. Card number 2 with the pretty antique rose. I'm not going to take the pieces out because it's exactly the same thing. You use the piece of vellum underneath the piece of the rose, and again I put just a little bit of Scotch tape to hold them together before I glued them flat. Then I added the gems, stamped the happy birthday, and bumped it up on dimensionals, and add a label, and once again you're set with card number 2. Card number 3 is not any more difficult than cards 1 and 2. So again, it's the same formula. You use the piece of vellum behind the piece of fern, stamp just a note on the circle, bump it up on dimensionals, and then add the embellishments from the kit. So cute, right? But it's fun to create other things too. So let me show you what I have done. And so again, if you're in, if you get your paper pumpkin through me, then your bits are in the mail. If not, you can just follow along and create your own. So for this card, I am using a craft paper envelope. I just thought it looked pretty with this. And I also embossed this Blackberry Bliss with the Starstruck embossing folder, which is free with a $60 purchase during celebration. And you will need a piece of Blackberry Bliss ribbon or a complimentary ribbon, and it's about 9 inches long. Then I took and I cut my piece, my Blackberry Bliss piece, into 2 pieces so that I could make 2 cards. So this card, my focal point will be to the right, and my next card, the focal point will be to the left. Then you also need a piece of vellum, and the vellum is about 2.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And what I did for this is I glued my piece right to the edge of the vellum. And so let me do that real quickly with you. So just a few little glue dots. You don't have to worry about them showing because they won't. Few little glue dots, and I am gluing it right to the edge of my vellum, and I'm waiting just a bit, and then I am tearing my vellum all around. So see how I tore the vellum, and you get a little bit darker edge. It's really kind of cool. And nothing is wrong, you know, there's no wrong way to do it. But I just started and kind of let my thumb kind of guide the way I am tearing it out. So I am tearing my vellum just like this. And as I tell my gals, don't throw this piece away yet because you might think of something to do with it. I don't know what, but you might. Okay, and then what I did is I simply glued this flat, and I used runner tape to glue it flat since this is a embossed surface. I like to use the runner tape on that, and it's flat. And then I stamped the Get Well Soon on a circle from the kit, and I bumped it up on dimensionals, and then I tied my ribbon in a bow here, and this bow will go right here. Then I added some of the gems. So that's the way you do card number 1 from my alternatives. And then of course you want to add a liner on the inside, which is 4 by 5 1/4 because it's too dark to write on the Blackberry Bliss. Although if you used a white Jelly Roll pen, it probably would look cool. So that is card number 1 of my alternatives. I hope you like it, and I hope you guys are ready for Christmas. I'm trying really hard, but we have a little bit of a flood in the house, so, well, we did have a flood, and so now we have workmen here and trying to get ready to host a Christmas party. There's just a lot going on. Okay, so for the second card, you're going to need a white envelope of your own, and then we're using one of the card bases from the kit. So the card base from the kit, what I did is I folded in the edges and I scored them. So instead of folding it in half, I scored at 2 1/8 on the left and 2 1/8 on the right, and then folded them together so it makes kind of this scallopy shape here. And then I did pretty much the same thing I did on the first card, but I cut my vellum piece in half, glued it onto a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock, and then I ripped around it, glued it flat onto my card base, and then I I used my ribbon to make a little belly band like this. But here is the way I did the card. I used a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4 and glued it here so you can't see this line and it doesn't get in the way. This score line doesn't get in the way of your writing. So it's nice and flat here. It folds like this. My 2 pieces that I tore and glue flat are on either side, and then I added the 3 little gems up here and added the lots of love. I bumped it up on dimensionals only on the left side. The right side is free. And then I tied my ribbon around my whole thing, tied it in a knot, and then just slipped it onto the card. And I know I can get it back on here. It's just not going to do it while I'm on camera, right? That's the way it always works. Let me just get this sliding. There we go. Anyway, it slides like that, so it stays closed. And I didn't intend to open the knot. I think the knot looks really pretty like this. I just slipped it under the lots of love, and I am sending this to my niece and her newly engaged fiance. They got engaged tonight, so we're pretty excited, and this lots of love card will be perfect for them. So it is ready to have a little something written in it and send it off. So that is my second card, and I like the way that turned out too. It's got a lot of, it's kind of a unique looking card. Okay, and then card number 3, I used another technique. This time I cut a card in half, and I used one of the envelopes from the kit. So I am using an old olive card base, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then there's a piece of white on the inside that is 4 by 5 1/4. And on the outside, I cut each piece at 4 inches wide. So it has a little bit of an edge here. And then I took the, let's see, where is that? I took this piece and I made it into a stencil, and I just laid it right on top of my my piece of card, and laid it the way I wanted it. And then I used the blending brushes, and what I did with my blending brush is I started from the edge here and I worked my way in. I worked from the edge and worked in, edge and worked in, edge and worked in. And as I went around, I held it with my finger and it was flat. So I would just push and just pushed all the way around, just like that. So push the ink towards the middle of the image. So that's the way I got that piece of fern. And then I glued it flat. I added a hello, bumped up on dimensionals, and gave you some more of that pretty Blackberry Bliss paper or ribbon to tie a bow, and added the bow. So that is card number 3. Okay, and card number 4 could be a Valentine card, because it's going to be Valentine's before you know it. And I am using some of the designer series paper that is going away, which is called Most Adored. And right now it is super, super cheap on clearance. So if you haven't purchased any, I highly recommend it. I think it's like $3 and something for the whole pack. And what I did this time is I used half of the rose image, and I folded my cardstock. It's basically a regular card base like this, folded on itself at 2.5. And then I added the hello right here and only glued it on this side after I glued on my designer series paper and my rose. This is just the flip side of this. And so I think that's a really cute card. You have kind of 3 panels. You have a panel here, and these are 2 1/8, I believe. No, 2 inches. This is 2 inches by 5 1/4. This is 2 inches by 5 1/4. So anyway, the only difference between this one and the card I'm going to make is, of course, because this is a cut image like this card, the next card I make, will have my rose over here instead of over here. But I think that's fine. So just a fun way to make more cards using the design elements from the kit. And for my gals, I've also given you some of these pink gems to add to your card. So that is card number 4, I think. Okay. And then, yes, and then card number 5 doesn't use any of the elements from the kit other than the stamps. And let me just show you what that looks like once I get this organized here. Let's see. Okay, this one I took, and most of the most of the stamps work together in harmony, and I am using a piece of thick basic white that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I use Blackberry Bliss ink. I am using a piece of Blackberry Bliss designer series paper that is 3/4 inch by 5.5, so it goes all the way across. And then I have some Blackberry Bliss ribbon here, but I ran out, so I wanted to show you an idea. I have some of this binding tape free product ribbon that is going to be on Celebration, and because, where did I put that piece of, oh, here. I have a piece of scrap paper, and what I am going to do is I'm going to first create Blackberry Bliss ribbon. So I want to show you, Blackberry Bliss is a great color to use because it is so dark, and I am using the dark Stampin' Blends and using the thick side on its side, and all I am doing is going through and going over the ribbon, and it bleeds right through to the other side of the ribbon, and you get a Blackberry Bliss ribbon. So if you don't have any Blackberry Bliss ribbon already, but you've got a light colored piece of ribbon, you can make your own Blackberry Bliss ribbon. And if you have a Celebration credit for $60 or more, you can buy this really cool, or you can't buy it. You can earn this crinkle ribbon and make it your any color pretty much you want because it's such a light color. So look, isn't that cool? I've got it all done. So now I can use that ribbon on my card. But the other thing that I did is I used a large block, and I want to show you how I arranged my stamps. So of course you could stamp each of the stamps individually, but that's kind of time consuming. And so what I did is, and actually to be a little bit tricky, I used all of them except the Get Well Soon and the I don't know, maybe that's the only one I didn't. Oh, and the Thank You. I didn't use the Get Well Soon or the Thank You, but here's what I did. And since I already set it up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of emulate this real quickly for you and set it up on my block. So I will have it ready for when we get together and stamp together. So this is what I did. I just kind of randomly set these pieces out together on a piece on my originally on my glass mat, and then I'm just about done here. It's hard to talk and think or line these up at the same time. I'm really a klutz. Okay, just a note goes here, and let's see, the congrats I had on there as well, and I think those were all, yes. Then I had the Get Well Soon and the Thank You didn't quite fit, but I thought this made a great birthday card. And so then I just used a large block, and it is the E block if you're curious. And so I have my stamps all set up there. Now I just ink them up, and I started in this corner and on the right hand side and pressed it down, lifted it up. Then I used my scratch paper, and I just lined this up so the words didn't overlap, and I stamped down here. And then I turned it to the side, and using my scratch paper again and stamped over here. So then that's how I got all of my wording on there, and it wasn't very difficult at all. So once my wording was on, then I just tied a ribbon around the front of the card, tied a knot here, used a little bit of a glue dot underneath here to hold it in place, and then I added some of the gems from the kit. And on the inside, I added a piece of Blackberry Bliss Designer Series paper that's 3/4 of an inch by 5.5. And I just think that makes a really cute card as well. And if you had some flowers from another kit or some stickers, it would be cute to put them like right in here coming out of the little knot. And I might do that on my next one. But that's how you do card number 5. I hope you liked it. And then the bonus activity that I have for you is really fun, and I'm very excited. I hope you like it. It's the new year, and so we all need a calendar, right? Or several calendars to keep us on track. And so I purchased some of the little thumbnail kind of calendars that you can get on Amazon. And for my gals that are a part of my Paper Pumpkin group, I have purchased them for you, and I mailed you each one so you could play along with me using your own supplies for the project. But I think you're going to want to. And if you want to do more, then you can order more of the calendars. And so this is the size calendar that I'm talking about. It is 3 inches by 2 inches, and it goes all the way through the year. And then it's got just a little piece of cardboard on the back. So you're ready for the project? I'm very excited to share with you. This is the project. It is a 3-dimensional, stand on its own calendar with the for the 3x3 post-it notes and a place to put your pen. And this is a pen from Stampin' Up! That I think is on clearance right now. So you can get a set of those and put one on each of several of your calendars. But it has a tent base and easel base, and then it's got a pocket on the front. Stands on its own. Isn't that great? And added the just a note from our kit, and also half of the fern. So half of the fern is here, and just a coordinating designer series paper that I had around. So if you want to do this this project with me, you're going to need some supplies, and I want to show you what you are going to need, but I think it is so worth it, and I hope you want to play with me. So the first thing you will want is, I've given you the calendar, so you've got a calendar to play with. You will need a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, regular card with the top like a tent fold. Okay, and then you're going to need a piece of 4 by 4 paper that is scored at 1/2 inch and at 2 inches and at 4 inches. And what you do is you are going to fold the first fold like a valley down. Then you're going to fold the second one up like a mountain. And then the third one like a valley. And what you're going to do is you're going to put glue here and glue here. And then you are going to lift up and lay your piece right at the very bottom with about 1/8 of an inch on either side on the back. And then you're going to take this piece that has the glue on it as well and close that down there. Then what you get is a tent like that, and that's what you want. So it won't open and the pocket won't fall. Okay, so that's what you do for the easel. Then to decorate the easel, you are going to need a piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4, and you're going to glue that flat on the front. And then on the back, I have a piece that is 3/4 by 4, and you're going to center that on the back and glue it on there just to have it finished on the back. Okay, and then what I did is I took half of the fern and glued it right at the top. and I added a sentiment, and I chose just a note. And then I'm all done with this. Now I'm ready to make the pocket. And for the pocket, you need a piece of cardstock that is 4.5 by 5.5. On the 4.5 side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 4 inches. 1/2 inch and at 4 inches. Then you're going to turn it this way, and you're going to score it at 2.5 and 3 inches. 2.5 and 3 inches. And then that's going to create a little square here and a little square here. Those are going to be your tabs. And so you're going to cut up to the score line, and then you're going to cut in at an angle so that you've got a clean little cut. And then you're going to do the same thing here. Cut up to the score line and trim in for a nicer fit when you glue them all together. Okay, and then you're going to crease it on all of the score lines, and you're going to make it into a pocket. So you just can see how these just go together, and you're going to glue them all like that side, and then this one is going to come up and over and on that side. Just make sure you glue your flaps so they glue to the back. Then you have a nice clean edge on the front. So after you've got that pocket made, you're going to put glue on the back, and you are going to align it with the bottom of your easel and glue on your calendar, and voila, you've got a pocket easel folder, easel calendar that fits a 3x3 stack of Post-it notes along with a pen. And then I put some embellishments here. You can put whatever you want. Maybe you want to put a bow or some other gems that you have laying around. But I just love those. I hope you enjoy it and you want to make one of these as well. That's it for this month, ladies. Have a great Christmas. I can't believe we're just a few days away. Take care.